What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're going to be playing a Gruesome Elves deck. Now, I got to thinking about some cool ways that Rhythm of the Wild could be used with monsters coming back from the graveyard, and what better way and what better monsters to bring back than a deck full of elves. So, yeah, we're going to hop right into the deck tech or the deck breakdown, and then we'll get right into our game. So, starting us off, we have Ye Old Faithful, Llanowar Elves, coming in at 4 of them for our 1-drops. 2 copies of Fountain of Renewal. Now, I found this helps out against those aggro decks that really want to burst you down, because an Elvish deck is, well, it's not the fastest. And if your Elves manage to get, destroyed out early, that's super unfortunate. But considering we are running 3 Gruesome Menageries and 2 Eldest Reborns, you'll probably be able to get them back, so it won't be the end of the world unless they get exiled, in which case, Nonetheless, this isn't a very competitive deck. This is just a deck that I wanted to build for fun. You guys know that's usually the course, but I have found this deck to be a lot better than what I originally gave it credit for. So, moving on from the Fountain of Renewals, we have 2 Lava Coils to deal with any pesky opponents our opponent may... Any pesky creatures our opponent may throw out, I'm sorry. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Druid of the Cowl, 1 copy of Incubation Druid. If it was up to me, we'd have more Incubation Druid and less Druid of the Cowl. Or I would just throw in the Growth Chamber Guardian, because I believe it's an elf. Yeah, it's an elf crab warrior, but I only have 1 copy of it, so 1 copy doesn't really make its ability worthwhile to throw it in the deck. So that's why we don't have it. For all of those of you who are saying, put Growth Chamber Guardian in your elf deck. I don't have enough. I think 3 copies is probably solid enough to run it. Maybe 2. Maybe 2's fine, but we're still down at a lowly 1, so that's what we're going to be working with today. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Swarm Guildmage. Again, this helps you out with your health, as well as if you manage to get up to 5 mana, which is fairly easy running an elf deck. You can give a +1/+0 buff to all your elves, and give them all menace, which helps you swing in a little bit wider than your opponent will really be expecting with an elf ball deck. So, pretty good card there. 2 copies of Elvish Rejuvenator, as we won't need too much land to get out, but sometimes getting out another, like a source of red or a source of black, is very, very helpful, especially considering we have things like Vraska's Contempt and Ritual of Soot, which cost a double, Gruesome Menagerie, 2 swamps, so we're definitely going to be needing those lands, and Elvish Rejuvenator just sort of helps make sure that we get it. So yeah, moving on, we're going to have 2 copies of Marwyn. I found going up 3 copies is a little bit repetitive. You don't pretty much ever want to draw a Marwyn, like 2 copies of Marwyn, unless they just absolutely remove your first one, in which case, cool, it happened. But once you get a Marwyn up and you get it building, you really don't want to swap her out for another copy, because then you're just going to reset all your counters. So that's why I decided to go a little bit slimmer on the Marwyn count for this deck, and just leave it at 2. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Still Leaf Champion. I do only have 2 copies, otherwise we'd probably be running 3 or 4. Great card. excellent card. Moving on, we have 2 Rhythm of the Wild, sort of the whole spawn for this deck. This and Gruesome Menagerie. I wanted a way to make them work together, and the only key piece, or the only sort of connector there that I could find, would be elves. So hence why we're doing a Jund build with a bunch of elves. So moving on, we have 1 copy of Ritual of Soot. Now, this isn't as deadly to you as it's going to be to your opponents. Obviously, getting rid of all your 3 mana costs are lowered. You're going to get rid of your Marwyns and all these elves down here. But you do have Gruesome Menagerie to also bring back all of those 3 or less creatures. Or maybe not all of them, but you can at least bring back 3 of them. So, yeah, it's a perfectly fine trade-off there, especially if you're up against Merfolk or Mono White Weenie. Excellent clear card. So, moving on, we have 2 copies of Vraska's Contempt. Gives us a little bit more life, exiles target creature or planeswalker, which is a big note there. Planeswalkers, I feel like, are becoming a little bit more important. They were a lot last set, but this one especially, with Teferi getting so much better, which makes Vivian so much better, because all Teferi decks pretty much run some sort of enchantments or flyers or whatever, it may be. So, moving on, we have 2 copies of Beast Whisperer. Good card draw, elf card. 2/3 is not that great for 4 mana, but his effect definitely makes up for it, so definitely throw in at least 2 or 3 copies. I've decided to go with only 2 because I'm testing out Guardian Project currently with it, which seems to have its positives and its negatives. So here's the thing with Guardian Project. Say you throw down an elf, right? And then Guardian Project procs. Well, if they destroy your elf, say they shock it as soon as it lands, you're not going to get the card draw from Guardian Project. Why? If you read carefully, whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control in another creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. So as soon as they destroy it, that creature card that has now entered the battlefield and proc this effect, because there wasn't previously a creature with that name on the field or in your graveyard, is now in the graveyard, so it essentially negates itself. So that's a little drawback to it, but I found the positives to it to be sort of equal. So say you have one copy of Llanowar and a copy of Incubation Druid and a Still Leaf in your graveyard. If you bring them back with Gruesome Menagerie, as soon as they enter the battlefield, which this is enter the battlefield kind of effect, since you no longer have any in your graveyard, you're going to get that card draw back again, to whereas with Beast Whisperer you would not get them, because you're not casting this creature spell, you're casting a sorcery spell and bring them back to the battlefield. So that's where I think the strong suits of Guardian Project do come in. And as far as whether it's better or not than Beast Whisperer, you'll really just have to mess around. But I found splitting it half and half, considering they're both 4 mana, it's perfectly fine. Guardian Project also a little bit less limited on the mana it needs, so it's a tricky situation. But I found Guardian Project to work out more in the positive than in the negative for this deck thus far. So we're gonna leave it in there. Moving on, we have 2 Path of Discoveries. This helps to make your elves a little bit bigger, helps you get through your deck a little bit quicker. Moving on, we have 2 Poison Tip Archers. This essentially makes all the removal on your elves, all the combat trading, a little bit less appetizing to them, right? They're not looking to just constantly lose life. Say you defend one of their creatures with one of your creatures, both of them die, they're going to lose 2 points of life right there, regardless. So it's a very good utility card. 2/3 is whatever, but the Reach and Death Touch greatly reduces the amount your opponent wants to attack you in the face, especially once they see you have a Gruesome Menagerie and an Eldest Reborn. You can get back all the little elves that you're using as fodder to deal damage. So, and then the Eldest Reborn, of course, helps you bring back things like the Poison Tip Archer, like Vraska, like Beast Whisperer, all these things that are above 3 mana. Your Eldest Reborn is how you're going to be getting them back. So, moving on. Actually, I don't think... Oh, yeah, you can get Planeswalker. Okay, sorry. Had a momentary brain fart there. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Vraska, Golgari Queen. Now, obviously, sacrificing a permanent isn't such a big deal, as you do have 3 copies of Gruesome Menagerie. Destroying a target non-land permanent with a converted mana cost 3 or less. This is sort of like a more accurate version of Ritual of Soot, and it only destroys 1, -3 from her, so it is a bit costly. However, her emblem is literally a game winner, so if you can get her out, you can protect her, get her up to 9 or 10 or whatever it is, you know, game 1. So pretty good card, and at 1 as a 1 of, I feel like she fits into the deck perfectly well. So moving on, we have 3 copies of Gruesome Menagerie, as that is the name of the game here, and 2 copies of the Eldest Reborn, which have already been over. So yeah, then the rest is just our lands. You guys know I'm a little bit fucked on lands, but I'm not, like you guys see right now, I have 1 rare card. I'm not fixing to spend that 1 rare card on 1 land just to try and make this deck slightly better, because then what about the next deck, right? I don't have any rare cards. I can't make that deck slightly better, so it just seems a bit like a waste to me. Nonetheless, we're gonna hop right into our games here. Alrighty, and here we are up against Master Camus. I think that's how you say his name. No black mana, but we do have 2 Elvish Rejuvenators to try and dive for a swamp, so I think that's perfectly okay, and having a Path of Discovery in hand probably won't hurt us. This is a little bit of a slower hand to keep, so hopefully our opponent's not playing anything too aggro-y, although throwing down a turn 1 island into an op makes me think that they're either playing mono blue or they're playing Is It Drakes. Either way, it does put a little bit of fear in me. We're going to go and throw down our Guildgate first, as it does enter tapped, and there's also 1 of our black manas that we need for the Gruesome Menagerie. Ooh, and a Beast Whisperer is very interesting. See, the thing with the Elf Ball deck is I always want to cast out my higher cost cards before my lower cost cards, but that's kind of backwards, right? Because you want to ramp into your higher cost cards. So it is going to be Is It Drakes, which is super unfortunate for us. We're going to have to go ahead and play down that land untapped so we can get out an Elvish Rejuvenator into a Path of Discovery, into a Beast Whisperer. So there's our second copy of Swamp. And I'll probably keep these games today regardless of whether or not, you know, they're good games or we win or whatever. Most of the time I try and edit the videos so you guys are seeing interesting games, because like what fun is it showcasing a deck where you don't really get to see the deck, or you don't get to see, you know, how good it is or whatever. It's no fun. So you know, this turn we'll go ahead and throw down the second Guildgate, as we can't really do anything with it either. And our Elvish Rejuvenator is just going to chill out. The fact that they're playing Drakes makes this really, really difficult for us, as we don't really have any way to deal with flying past Vivian. Maybe throwing in a couple Crushing Canopies would be good for this deck. But again, I wasn't building this deck to be the world's greatest mid-range elf ball deck. I'm going to take the 4 damage. Not too worried about it right now. It could come back to bite me in the ass, because this is a Drake deck, so obviously lowering your life is really dangerous. Druid of the Cowl. So let's go Beast Whisperer into Druid of the Cowl. That's an unfortunate draw there, but maybe we'll get something a little bit better here. Eldest Reborn, that does help us. He'll probably sacrifice his Enigma Drake. And another copy of Eldest Reborn. Okay, so we can get rid of them back to back. We are going to go and swing him with our Elvish Rejuvenator here, as it's probably going to turn into a bit of a race for us. Now, with the Eldest Reborn, I'm going to go ahead and play it and kill their Drakes. And even though we don't have any instants in our graveyard, I'm still going to bring back their Drakes, because it will give us flyers to defend out against... Oh, okay, Lathless. What? Is it dragons? Either way, it looks like this game's going to be over sooner rather than later. I think on this next turn they'll have lethal, regardless of what we do. So I think our best option is playing Elvish Rejuvenator and digging deep for some health. Probably not going to happen. Oh, and we also should have used Path of Discovery after Elvish Rejuvenator, just in case you discover something you don't quite want to play out just yet. So yeah, that's going to be GG. Alrighty, and we'll get on into the second game. Like I said, I'm probably not going to cut these games out. I'll just try and play through, you know, a decent menu real quick, just so I can get it up. I am a little pressed for time today, as I do have work. So nonetheless, we're going to hop into a game 2 here. Actually, I don't even have to edit it, because we're already here. So game 2 is going to be up against Goblin Ranger. Maybe they'll be playing a Goblin deck and make this rather easy for us. One can only hope. Oh, this is an interesting hand, and it could get very, very rough for us if we don't manage to. Well, that makes it a lot easier, right? So we are probably going to go turn 1 Llanowar, turn 2 Still Leaf, even though it takes away a little bit from our Guardian project. Hopefully, whenever we get to the point of casting Gruesome Menagerie, and it looks like we could be up against an Azorius Flyers deck. Hopefully, by the time we get to the point of casting Gruesome Menagerie, we do have Guardian project down, and so that effect that I was talking about earlier about returning creatures from your graveyard to your battlefield to get the proc off Guardian project will still be useful to us. Yeah, I don't think we need to throw down Blood Crypt untapped, although we could have played Guardian project that turn, huh? It's okay. I'm perfectly fine with playing it slow here, and we do have enough for our Gruesome Menagerie now, so that is good. Seal Away is going to come down on our Steel Leaf, which is super fucking annoying, because it means that our Gruesome Menagerie now can't bring it back, and the fact that our opponent's playing this this Control-y Flyers build is certainly annoying, but we'll find a way around it. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw down the Guardian project, just so whenever we do get card draw in the future, we can use it. And if he wants to seal away another one of my elves, I'm not going to lie, I'll be slightly perturbed. Another copy of Favorable Winds, so he's going to deal 4 to us. We're actually getting pretty low. I may go ahead and Eldest Reborn on this next turn. Not like we have a better play anyways. Swarm Guildmage is okay, but it's not going to... I mean, it gives us some card draw, right? And we can gain some life with it, which is pretty good. It can help us slow his down. And using an Eldest Reborn on a Kite Sail Courser isn't the greatest. So, tell you what, we're going to throw down the Swarm Guildmage. And, wow, I guess we're going to throw down Gruesome... Or, not Gruesome. The Eldest Reborn as well, just because we managed to draw out another land, and it works out pretty well for us, so... And again, he's trying to rush us down. That's pretty obvious from his very weak Flyers, accompanied by his Favorable Winds. So obviously the healer's Hawk is going to be a bit annoying for us. He's going to be gaining 3 life every turn. Yeah, I think we just pass the turn, right? Pass the turn, we'll tap the Swarm Guildmage to gain us 2 more life, so he won't deal as much damage. And he's taking away his white mana, so I know he doesn't have a seal away, or at least he can't cast it if he does have it, so. Beast Whisperer. Yeah, let's take back his Resplendent Angel. I didn't even realize he had one, but sure, why not? Guardian Project actually going to give us a draw there too, so that's pretty nice. We'll go ahead and throw down Beast Whisperer. It should give us another card draw from Guardian Project. And another copy of Gruesome Menagerie. And Rootbound Crag. I think we... Oh no, we haven't played land this turn yet. Okay, so that does give us the ability to tap Swarm Guildmage for some health, which is actually pretty nice. No attackers, as they would just die, and we'll end our turn. Alrighty, so they can swing in with their Healer's Hawk. Probably will go ahead and just, you know, take a 1-for-1 there. Again, their life is getting a little scary, but it's not like they're dealing so much to us that we're not staying absolutely at the same. Lava Coil is absolutely excellent. We'll Lava Coil him. And then honestly, I think we just give all of our other elves a +1 bonus with Menace, and we just swing all in with them, right? Even if they seal away the Beast Whisperer, we still have the Guardian Project. Even if they destroy some of our elves, we still have ways to bring them back. Now, unfortunately, since they are playing Azorius and they can just seal away our creatures, it means that it makes it a hell of a lot harder for us to get them back with Gruesome Menagerie. Clearly, we still don't have any in our graveyard, which is unfortunate. But there's a Vraska's Contempt, so somehow we just managed to keep holding on, just barely. And our health is actually getting pretty high and up there. I don't think there's any need to kill this turn, so we'll just go in for the full swing, and we're bringing them down to 11 now, so tides are definitely changing more into my favor, which is exactly, you know, what you want in the game. Cleansing Nova, oh no, whatever shall we do? Ooh, and we got a Vraska Golgari Queen. That's excellent. Okay, so we can bring back a 3, a 2, and a 1. Alright, so there's 3 elves back, 2 copies of Guardian Project, as we do already have 1 copy of Llanowar Elves in our graveyard. Then Marwyn's going to get the extra buffs from all that. Sure, let's go ahead and throw down a Vraska Golgari Queen. Sure, target non-land permanent. Oh, so we can get rid of the seal away, actually, or we could get rid of his favorable winds. I think I'm going to get rid of the seal away, though. And that'll activate Guardian Project again, give us another proc for our Marwyn. So next turn he's looking at lethal, right? Or we're looking at lethal on him. Lyra Dawnbringer. Ooh. That makes things difficult. So let's go Rhythm of the Wild into a Still Leaf. And we can give it haste. And now, tell you what, let's just swing all in, right? He's gonna have to defend a 5. We're still gonna win, actually. I think that's lethal. So game 2. Oh no, he's gonna get the lifelink. Okay, so that's fine. He'll kill our Marwyn. Go for it. And actually, we should have held back the Llanowar Elves. That is my mistake there. That's okay. You may sacrifice another permanent if you do draw a card. Let's sacrifice a Steel Leaf. No, because we're going to be bringing back Marwyn with the Gruesome Menagerie. Let's sacrifice our Llanowar. Ooh, drew into a land. That's not great. Alright, we'll end our turn. Now he's going to gain 7 more life here. Does he? Does he gain 7 more life? I think so. And actually his deck's getting pretty scary now as his creatures are getting out there a little bit further, getting a little bit bigger for... Ooh, he's gonna take out the Vraska. That's okay. Another goddamn land. That's super unfortunate for us. Let's see. Can we bring back? We can bring back a 3, a 2, and a 1. Okay, I'm fine with that. 3, 2, 1. He's already back up to 12. He has 2 blockers. He'll 6, so he's at least back up to 18. Put a +1/+1 counter, +1/+1 counter, +1/+1 counter. Get some card draw off of Guardian Project again. Get some more procs on Marwyn. Really? We just drew 2 more lands. Oh, that's so infuriating, honestly. Absolutely despicable. Another copy of Guardian Project. Okay, we could swing in with our Still Leaves, but I don't think it's really going to do much. Although his swing back on us is what, 13 plus 3, 16 damage, and he's going to heal for all of that? Holy shiza. You know what we should have done? Saved enough mana to give all of our people Menace. He could have blocked 2 of them. Still would have healed up 9. He would have been to 21. 5 plus 9 plus 2 plus 2. Yeah, still not enough. So guess we just gotta kick it back to his turn. Looking rather scary for us, not gonna lie. Either way, I'm happy to get this game in because it is showing you guys how you want to be playing your Marwyn, how you want to be playing your elf deck here. Even though sometimes you go up against Azorius Angels and they just stomp your face because Lyra and unfavorable winds and favorable winds and Shala are just some really strong cards, and in Jund you don't have too much heavy removal for them. Like you have Ritual of Soot, but it's not going to hit the Lyra or Shalai, right? Cleansing Nova doesn't even fit into the color palette, so let's just go ahead and gain 2 life. Now we're going to be losing a whole lot of it. Yeah, so tides have turned very quickly, all in one turn actually. Wow, I think we're just boned, right? We can't deal that much damage in one turn. Yeah, so that's gonna be a GG. No, and it tapped Marwyn. Why would you do that, game? Why in the fuck would you actually do that? Okay, good game. Game 2 gonna be a loss. Oh, that's so infuriating. We still wouldn't have won, but the fact that the game, I guess it's my fault for not pre-tapping. Hell, whatever. We're getting into a game 3. Alrighty, and here we are up against Rabbit 2310. And hopefully, if we do manage to have another close game, we can actually pick up the victory here. That's a decent starter hand, right? We have one of all of our basic lands in hand, as well as something to ramp to past that. So yeah, we're just gonna wait on our rabbity opponent here to decide whether or not. Okay, he did take a mulligan. That's okay. And regardless of whether this is a win or not, as long as it's a decent length game, we'll probably just keep it. And like I said, I'm a bit pressed for time today, so we may not get a victory with this deck. That's okay. Not every deck is gonna get a victory in every video. Sometimes I just showcase decks just to show you guys, like, hey, I think this is a cool idea. I've been playing it for a while. It's been fun, So take it for what you will, or what you may. I was gonna say our opponent's playing a Gates deck, but he's not. He's just playing a whole lot of tapped lands, which is unfortunate for him, but wonderful for us. And the fact that we keep drawing out these big, costly cards is not okay. And I really don't understand that with Magic. It seems like if you have a higher cost card, you're going to draw it more often, which seems ridiculous, right? Like, seems absolutely preposterous to think that you're just going to be drawing heavy drops every single time. But that's exactly what I do, pretty much. So we're going to go Druid of the Cowl into Beast Whisperer into Elvish Rejuvenator here, or maybe Druid of the Cowl into Guardian Project into Beast Whisperer. Actually, we probably should have went Elvish Rejuvenator. I didn't realize he had an instant, but of course I couldn't know that until after we had played the card, so we'll wait. It might get Lava Coiled here, or Lightning Struck. Probably Lightning Struck if I had to guess about it, yeah, because our opponent, of course, is carrying removal, and they always have it in their opening hand because, that's just how this game works. If an opponent has removal, they're going to be able to cast it at the end. Never seen an instant where that was not true. For instance, Marwyn dies this turn. Shock, Lava Coil, Lightning Strike. Gonna happen. Why? Because anytime we're playing a deck that we want to have fun with creatures, our opponent's running 30,000 copies of removal. Now, would I be mad normally? No, but he's in a Jund deck. I find it very difficult for you to convince me in a Jund deck to run Lightning Strike and Shock. Very, 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 almost impossibly difficult for you to convince me to run Lightning Strike and Shock in a Jund deck. Ever. There's just so much better removal. But, you know, whatever. Who am I to sit here and tell someone else how to play the game? I'm playing janky as hell decks. And then I get mad whenever a Jund deck runs a Shock and a fucking Lightning Strike. It just doesn't make sense, right? Sure, maybe Shock. It's 1 mana to deal 2 damage. Maybe. But even still, with the combination of green, red, and black, you have better removal. You have Lava Coils, you have Cast Downs, like, removal that isn't so based on an opponent's health. Now, I'm not saying I would have been happier to see a Cast Down there, but I'm saying it would have been smarter for this guy to be playing Cast Down than Shock. And that's pretty much the only point I'm trying to make there, is that it irritates me whenever I see someone else's deck and I'm like, you know, you're doing something to me and you're fucking up my game plans, but you're not even doing it in the best way. Which I guess is how a lot of people feel about my jank deck, so that's okay, huh? He's gonna Assassin's Trophy my Guardian project. Cool. Cool. I enjoy it. I think it's something something fresh. Alrighty. Let's just go Path of Discovery. See if he Assassin's Trophies this. Our opponent's playing very slow, which makes me want to play very slow, almost mind-numbingly slow. But at least it's not a Nexus deck, so, you know, I should be happy. Whatever if he wants to play slow. If he wants to let us get out on our enchantments, just destroy him. That's, you know, that's fine. I don't even know what this guy could be playing at this point. Shock, Lightning Strike, Assassin's Trophy. Clearly he's got like 3,000 forms of removal, which is one thing in of itself in a Jund deck, right? I don't think I've ever seen Jund control, which could be interesting, right? Maybe I should build for that. Try it out one game. Still, it seems a bit ridiculous. Go ahead, Lightning Strike. Yeah. Why? I just don't understand what Jund deck you want Lightning Strike in. Ever. Like, ever. Whatever. We can bring back Marwyn and Druid of the Cowl, so I guess Gruesome Menagerie wouldn't be the world's worst thing ever. You got a Shock in there too? Tell me he has a Shock. So all these Lightning Strikes, all these Shocks, and the biggest problem I have with that is, like, why would you run a Lightning Strike over a Cast Down, right? Because you get plenty of creatures that are above 3 health that aren't legendary. Granted, you can shock or you can Lightning Strike a legendary. How many legendaries actually have 3 health or less? Marwyn, that's 1. Past that, it's really kind of difficult to find another one, right? So we're gonna go Eldest Reborn first before our Gruesome Menagerie, actually, because if we can bring back the Beast Whisperer first, then Gruesome Menagerie becomes... Oh, no, actually it doesn't really help us out there, huh? Because we're not actually casting the spells, as I said earlier. That is the problem with Beast Whisperer over Guardian Project. Guardian Project allows you to bring your creatures back from the graveyard and still get the card draw. Beast Whisperer does not. You have to play them out of hand, so... I get the two confused all the time because, well, they're just very similar. 4 mana, draw a card whenever a creature enters the battlefield / you cast a spell. Okay, so he's got goblins. I'm so thoroughly confused on what this man is doing. A Jund deck, 2 copies of Shock, 2 copies of Lightning Strike, Assassin's Trophy, 3 copies of Lightning Strike. Like, what is going on here? Let's throw down a Poison Tip Archer and a Llanowar. I was planning on saving the Poison Tip for after we got the Beast Whisperer back, but if he's going to be playing very weak creatures that can die very easily, then I definitely want a Poison Tip out. You got your 4th Lightning Strike in hand? No? Ooh, Rhythm of the Wilds, that's wonderful. Do we go Rhythm of the Wilds before we go to Llanowar? I don't think it really matters on a Llanowar. I mean, it could matter. That's the difference between it dying and living through a Goblin Instigator. But it's going to get the buff here, so that's perfectly fine. It's essentially like we had a Rhythm of the Wild and we just chose to give it the +1/+1 counter. Murder. How much removal does this guy have? Because he's removed everything, right? Just like absolutely fucking everything. I'm not going to attack because with the Eldest Reborn, we're probably going to bring back the Poison Tip instead of the Beast Whisperer now that I'm seeing his deck. Holy shit. It's not even like infuriating in the fact that he's just removing all my shit. It's just infuriating in the fact that, like, what Jund deck carries 3 copies of Lightning Strike, 3 copies of Shock, right? Alright, so let's go Poison Tip. Get him back. What did we get? Path of Discovery. Another one? Do we want it? Sure, why not, right? And let's go Rhythm of the Wild before we do Gruesome Menagerie. And we don't have to attack here. We can use Elvish Rejuvenator. Because whenever we use Gruesome Menagerie, then all of those creatures are going to have Riot on them whenever they come back, which is excellent. So we'll be able to bring back a Marwyn, Druid, and Llanowar. Sure, kill my Poison Tip. I don't know why this guy runs 30,000 forms of removal and absolutely 0 win cons, except for maybe very, very weak beatdown. Yeah, I am going to block you out this turn, because, you know, fuck you. Should have destroyed the token, just in case he has any way of bringing people back from the grave. So yeah, we'll go ahead and Gruesome Menagerie and see how much our opponent likes that. So, yeah, I guess let's go Swarm Guildmage over Druid of the Cowl and Llanowar. And we'll put a +1, +1, +1. And then Marwyn, of course, will get 2 more +1/+1 counters, bringing her up to +4. Or, I mean, bringing her up to 4/4. Eldest Reborn, sure. Let's get another copy of it. Buff all of our creatures up a little bit more. Oh, Marwyn's actually going to go up to a 5/5 thanks to the Eldest Reborn pick off the top. Come on, tell me that one card is some removal. It won't matter. I got 2 more copies of Gruesome Menagerie in my hand, motherfucker. Your days of removing my shit and it mattering are over. Go ahead and say the GG. Give me a win in this game 3. Time is at 1:23. Okay, so I'm gonna have to hurry this along. Yeah, I'm not understanding this man's deck. Or woman, whatever it may be. It just doesn't seem... I mean, maybe he's just not drawing the cards he needs at all, right? He's just absolutely not drawing any of them. Okay, so we do have 5 mana coming from Marwyn, so we could Path of Discovery and Gruesome Menagerie, but what are we getting Gruesome Menagerie back? An Elvish Rejuvenator and a Druid of the Cowl? I mean, that's not terrible. Let's just go Eldest Reborn, though. And he's going to get rid of his token here. That's fine. That's whatever. But it means that we can get back our Poison Tip, or we can get back our Beast Whisperer, or whatever, you know, whatever the hell we want. If I want to, I can Vraska. Oh, no, I can't. I don't have 2 sources of black mana, huh? If I want to, I can Path of Discovery, though, and get that out before our creature comes back. But I think I'm just going to swing all in here. Because, like I said, I'm pressed for time, and I'm trying to win quicker rather than later. So, swing in here. He may block it. I doubt it. That's, what, 9, 12 damage. He's down to 4. So, yeah, good luck finding some mass removal on this last turn. Siege Gang. That actually is pretty nice for him, right? It's not going to help him a whole lot. He can deal 2 damage to one of my creatures, but that's it. And you tapped your Memorial to Folly, which I'm sure he didn't mean to do. It auto-tapped it. Yep, you gotta be careful of that. Got to be careful of auto-tap. We saw the strength of it earlier when it tapped our Marwyn to play goddamn Swarm Guildmage effect. So he doesn't have any cards to discard. You know, cool, sweet, whatever. There's a way to win this, and I know it, so I'm just trying to think that out. Actually, there's not a way to win it this turn, which is super unfortunate, but let's just go ahead and Vraska's Contempt the Siege Gang commander. You can't kill any of my creatures, no matter, you know, X number of goblins you sacrifice. If he sacrifices a goblin, we may actually win here. No, we still won't. He'll double block the Marwyn. He'll go down to 1 health. Just let it be sacrificed. I mean, if he was going to do anything, it should have been 2 damage to me, not 2 damage to Llanowar. Doesn't mean he can kill the Llanowar with one of his goblins now? Yes, it does, but doesn't really matter either. So, sure, why not throw down Path of Discovery if it's just going to tap our Llanowar, right? And then we can swing him with these other two. He can't kill him no matter how many goblins he defends with. So we'll probably put one on each of them. I'm not attacking you with an injured Llanowar. That was a pipe dream for you to think that. Should have dealt the 2 damage to my face. You can't stack all 3 to kill one either. This is probably a new player now, the more that I'm thinking about it. Alright. Maybe on this turn we'll be able to pick up the victory. I'm thinking we can. Oh, and he gets a Vraska out, so he's going to go up 1 more life to 5 health, which could make a difference here. And honestly, it's just being more annoying than anything now that I'm trying to wrap this game up. Oh, sure, I mean, he could get rid of one of my creatures as well. It's not going to gain him any life, but we can also Gruesome Menagerie it right back. So, sure, there goes our Marwyn. And we'll probably just get Poison Tip back, right? Because then we can just swing all in. So what? Even if he kills all of our creatures, we still win. So, and he doesn't have a play past that. What? Attack, return Siege Gang to your hand. Can't play it this turn, so that's perfectly fine. If he plays it next turn, he won't have enough mana to use it but once, as we've already seen. So yeah. No, let's go to my graveyard. My graveyard is a hell of a lot better. So let's go Poison Tip Archer. Sure, let's put a +1/+1 counter on it just in case he manages to draw out some more shocks. Or does he have any more lightning strikes? Yeah, he probably still has another copy if I had to guess about it. We can throw that Fountain of Renewal in the graveyard. I don't think we'll be needing it. And let's go ahead and Gruesome Menagerie and get that. Boom, boom. Alrighty, we'll get 4 procs of Path of Discovery and another proc on Marwyn. Drawing out all of our lands is, I mean, something, I guess. Sure, let's go to the graveyard with the Llanowar. Alrighty. Now, I think we just swing in right like so. So, he can block both creatures, still going to take 2 damage, so that's okay. And he can't really kill any of our monsters because then it'll do more damage to him and we'll have lethal the next turn. And he can't really block anything because he's, you know, 2 health away from death. So I think it's pretty fair to say this is our game. Yep, you can deal 2 damage to whatever you want, but it won't kill anything. So you're sort of right back in the plunder, or in the blunder that you were earlier. Not plunder, blunder. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and throw out the good game to him. Pretty confident he's not going to win here. He only has 2 life left. So basically all we do on our turn is swing it with everything. He defends it or he don't. Either way, he's going to die. So, marvelous. Game 3 going to be wrapped up into a victory. Always fun, always excellent. Sort of makes up for that close as hell game 2, right? So, yeah, he has, what, 4 defenders? I mean, we could give them all menace. I'm not doing it. You're not tapping my goddamn Marwyn again. So what is it, 5 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll get menace, I'll get +1, and then essentially he can only block 2 creatures. Even if he does block those 2 creatures, he's only putting himself that much closer to death. So that's going to be a GG on game 3. And finally being able to pull out a victory. You guys seeing, like I said, the strength of it throughout the games, but obviously this isn't a competitive deck, so if you go up against an Is It Drake's deck or whatever it may be, I mean, you might get blown out of the water. If you want to take some more removal, it probably wouldn't hurt you. You guys know that I'd rather take something to make the deck more fun than just taking another piece of removal just to make it work. So as I said before, good game. Our opponent is trying to figure out something. I mean, I guess that is something, but we're going to win off just a smash to the face anyways. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for today on our our Gruesome Elves deck. I had a whole lot of fun, and I'm kind of interested to tone this deck down a little bit and see what it can actually become, because I think this could be a pretty spicy combination in the Jund category. Nonetheless, thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like down below and a comment in the comment section for any suggestions on this deck, future decks, past decks, you know, whatever it may be, whatever you guys want to talk about. And as always, if you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe. It does help the channel. We're reaching for 1,000, hopefully before the end of the year. I think we can do it. I have a 100% faith in you guys. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.